Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Happy to see you. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, a day after a monstrous day in the recruiting world and just us in general, rocking and rolling. We're going to be talking about the transfer portal as more Gators have entered their name into the hat, how it affects us, where the roster stands now. Our man Cam Parker is rocking and rolling with a live update with the roster setting, so that'll be great. A target that, were our name is being mentioned in as of now. How much legitimacy is behind that, I don't know. But we'll talk about it. And again, there's going to be so many other options to be looking at for the Florida Gators and how quickly they're going to be moving. Again, the portal opens in just 4 days. December 9th, we're going to be rocking and rolling and doing all great things. Good to see you here. We got Matthew Roby Truffle Shuffle, maybe. Billy Roberts Show, do you even sleep, bruh? Sometimes. I fell asleep on the couch today. I took a little power nap. Another one? Yes, call me old fashioned. Another one. We don't sleep around here, boys and girls. Godspeed, show, my boy. Ivy Mac, it's Thursday, my dudes. It is Thursday. We're rocking and rolling. Good to see you here. And let's just dive right into it. So these were our breaking ones today. Again, up until this point, I think we all can agree here. I mean, Justice Boone was a big name that entered into the portal for the Florida Gators. But in regards to it stings because love the guy, but wasn't doing much on the football field. And to be fair, every name thus far hasn't really been much we're not losing much production on the football field. Brian something there, Jr., that's from the clouds. Okay, no clue who that is. I'm pretty well versed in this football team. That one threw me for a ringer. All right, and we had like Brian, like Capers and some other guys that I remember seeing. This guy, I ain't got a clue. Christian Williams was somebody that I was pretty hyped about, just given his size on the offensive line. I've talked about him, but we're going to talk about this roster of how many linemen there are. There's 21 offensive linemen, and we'll talk about all those guys here in just a few moments. And then, of course, the big one today, this, in my opinion, was the biggest one, but also still not a shocker. We literally talked about it the other day on the show. If you guys are watching, I said, look, Borningham would not surprise me just given the lack of production. You kind of saw it. Again, that FSU game showed us a lot. And I joked around and said that Billy was playing a lot of the second and third string guys. And look, it wasn't because we were winning. I think that was part of it, but it was also like, this is the future of the football team. I need to see these guys sooner rather than later. Let's start. I'm telling you, they're utilizing this time for 2025. That's how this process is going, right? We didn't see Borningham. We saw Tony Livingston. We saw, obviously, Hayden Hansen, who has been phenomenal as a tight. He's done his job for what we need him for, right? His blocking has been exceptional. He'll roll out, get a couple passes every now and then. We haven't utilized tight ends like you think a tight end, right? Like a Travis Kelce-esque type. We use them kind of the old-fashioned ways. Get up there and block, boys. We'll throw you one every now and then. And you got to believe, again, we lost out on Teshon. I wouldn't say lost out. Teshon Jeffley wanted to be a wide receiver, but he wanted to play kind of more of, that pass-catching wide receiver / tight end, and that's not going to work for us. That ain't going to be our thing. So we still got Amir Jackson, 4-star kid that was a recruit last year. We got Michael Jones added to the mix this year. I think he's 6'4". So that tight end room, again, love Borningham. Mom's great as well. So nothing but the best for him. But again, I think, you have to, these things are expected. The attrition is expected. And so far, I think Florida's rock and roll, and I saw somebody tweet as well. Doesn't seem like there's going to be much more attrition that's going to throw us for a loop or any surprises, which is good. I think right now, you're kind of looking around. There's names that could still go to the NFL. Those are names that we're going to keep an eye on. But DJ Lagway obviously was going to be a big one, which doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Eugene Wilson was another one. He's not going anywhere. Treon Webb was one that I was eyeing, although the running back room has been great. You still always want to keep talent when you can, and Treon Webb was a big one, and he's announced he'll be coming back too. So those guys can always still enter, right? So I wouldn't necessarily sleep on it just yet, but those are things we'll definitely keep monitoring and keep an eye on. But like I said, the guys that entered into it so far, not too concerned about it at all. So Christian Williams says he's not transferring on his Twitter. Is that updated? As of recent? I literally just went to his website here, or his Twitter, just a minute ago. Yeah, his last thing was 10 hours ago. He'll be entered into the transfer portal. That was his last Twitter message. So, anyhow, those are the names. Hey, Sean, can you give us an update on the wide receiver in the portal and who we might get? Yeah, so the name that we're on right now that we've been associated with is who we were just going to go over, and then we'll go about this roster here in a minute. We'll take a look at the roster as a whole. I think that'll be fun to go over, mention some names, and kind of get your thoughts and opinions about it. So, boys, 400 strong. Be sure to smash the like button so we can let people know what's up and let YouTube know that we're doing a good job today. I appreciate you guys so much. CJ Daniels was somebody that we were going after last time, right? Ended up going to LSU. Didn't have the sexiest year, I would say, at LSU. We kind of know they kind of fell off towards the end there, but he has been tied to us in South Carolina. 2 teams with young quarterbacks, them with the Norricellas, and of course us with DJ Lagway, the 6'2", 205-pound senior. Again, coming off his 2023 season and 1,000-yard receiving. I can't remember where he was. Is it Liberty? No. Where did he play before? It was Liberty. Man, I'm good. It was Liberty. But this past year, only 42 receptions for 480 yards and 11.4 average. So definitely a fall off from his prior years. So 2023 was really a big year for him. But could he come in and be like someone like a Shim DK, right? And allow for things, to do some things. Dane Key is another one, the wide receiver from Kentucky. Micah Hudson is a big five-star wide receiver, but I don't think Florida goes after somebody like that. Again, he kind of carries the stars. Right now, it's all like Texas A&M and LSU. We're looking at him. Again, a 5-star last year. So more youth. Again, I think for us, we need to go after someone like a CJ Daniels, who's got a lot of experience, 3 to 4 years experience to give DJ Lagway, again, just more of a veteran presence. Now, again, Eugene Wilson technically is going into his 3rd year. So again, I think he's there, but with some size on the corner. So we will definitely keep an eye on it. That wasn't Christian Williams, bud. What are we talking about? I don't know what Christian Williams we're talking about. I'm talking about the Christian Williams alignment, guys. I don't know what other Christian Williams there is, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I agree. I'm not sold on CJ Daniels. I just, again, he's just a name that we were associated with, and maybe on 3 is just throwing that out there. But given the fact that we kind of moved on from him last year, had a lot of great production out of Shim DK and Elijah Badger, given what he did and how many times LSU threw the ball, I'm not too sold. Dane Key would be a big one. Again, a lot of experience from him as well. So I think it's going to really heat up as time goes on. You got to think there's these teams that are going to be in the playoffs. That this is a big factor. How does that shape up with those guys? When do they go into the portal? Again, it's open until the 9th. So I think Ole Miss is going to be a team to watch for on whether or not they have any guys. So there's just, I feel like the pieces that are in there right now are not probably the sexiest pieces. And if I had to guess, I'm sure there's some tampering going on as well where people are going after. So we'll see. Nose tackle, O-lineman, tight end, and wide receiver need to get in the portal. Yeah, look, let's take a look at it. Let's look at this roster here. Again, shout out to Cam Parker, put this together, and he's going to continue to update this as it rotates, right? As guys go into the portal, as guys come to us out of the portal. So right now we have 7 quarterbacks: Clay Millen, DJ Lagway, Tramel Jones, signee, Aiden Warner. And then from down on, Aiden Warner, Paul Kessler, Aaron Williams, Lawrence Wright. These are all walk-ons. No clue who those guys are. But Clay Millen, DJ Lagway, and Tramel Jones are all scholarship players. Okay, running back, which this group is just beautiful. Jacoby Jackson. So we talked about that. I said he might be going, and he's not going anywhere. So love that. Great production from him this year. Trail Webb coming back from injury. Jaden Ball. Just 1, 2, 3. That's where Florida wants to be. See what I did there? Again, that kind of is that 1-2 punch, and then a third guy coming in. That's what they love to see. So I think the running back room is going to be extremely competitive. Then Waltez Clark and Byron Lewis are going to be the other two you'll see start to take that role. Kind of what Trayon was 2 years ago. 2 years ago with the likes of again, Etienne and Montreal. He was kind of that third back, kind of getting rotated in more. We do have we have 4 solid backs. We still have KD Daniels. I mean, the running back room is at its peak. And last year I felt really good about it, but we had some injuries and we still function at a very high level, right? The development in that room is incredible. You got to love it. Wide receiver, here we go. Let's look at this. So Marcus Burke, Khalil Jackson. I know you guys we give Khalil a little bit of flack, but the kid kind of just catches balls out of nowhere. But he'll still be back. Marcus Burke's an interesting one. Taylor Sprito. This is in order by seniority, by the way. Eugene Wilson, Aiden Mizell, Tank Hawkins, and TJ Abrams. He tweeted out the eye today, TJ Abrams, little emoji eyes. I don't know what that meant. Vernell Brown, Nashawn Montgomery, Mizzou, Tonkery. Those are all the 3 new signees. And then there's about 6 walk-ons, which names I've never even heard of. So, yeah, that wide receiver room definitely could utilize some more veteran experience. Marcus Burke, kind of up and coming, but just didn't really show flashes. Been there for quite some time. Khalil Jackson, I think he does some things. He does some great things. I just don't feel like he's going to be a catalyst that you need to ride on. As for tight ends, I don't see him. Okay, I was wondering if Keon Zipperer, because I saw him tweet. Does anybody know what happened with Keon Zipperer? Chad Gasper would be the best running back out of all of them. Yeah, I mean, I think he's injured right now. But and I thought he was gonna be a signee or a walk-on, but he's not a walk-on on here. I thought we still had Zip for another. I thought Zip had another year. Anyways, our tight ends are Hayden Hansen, Tony Livingston, Gavin Hill. Gavin Hill was the 4-star defensive lineman that we were talking about yesterday. We were going through some of the old classes that transferred positions. So we've got a D lineman playing tight end. Not that he can't play, I'm just letting you know. Then Amir Jackson, 4-star kid. And then Micah Jones, who we just signed with Caleb Relos, the Air Force guy. And he's a walk-on, and the 2 other names that I don't know. I thought we had Keon Zipper. So, yeah, I think a tight end would be a big one there. Again, I mean, we don't use them, but if I'm not that's not my first priority just because of how little we use them. But we'll see. We will see. He got hurt in the offseason. Yeah, I know he got hurt last year. I remember that, and I thought he was still part of the team. That's where I was confused. Nobody asked you, Muddy. As for Onis Kaboni, I thought he was going to commit today too, but I looked it up today to see what was up, and apparently he's waiting until February now. That could change, but the last thing that I saw that he pushed it back to the February signing date. And I believe he has to sign tomorrow, and if he doesn't, then he's gone. Gardy Gimsey said, what's going on with Andy Jean? Andy Jean has entered the portal. Andy Jean entered into the portal a couple days ago. So, biggest loss so far is a great question. I mean, I wouldn't say anybody are losses, to be perfectly honest with you, because they weren't playing, right? I mean, Boone, I would probably say Boardingham, it would be your biggest so far. Some may say Andy Jean. I wasn't, I think with the talent we brought in, I think that was easily replaced personally. So I would say Boardingham. And I would say the biggest out of what we've had thus far. You guys might think something different, but I think Zipper is done with football injuries. It has to be because he's not on this list, and I don't remember seeing anything about him leaving. So let's take a look at this line here. Offensive line, Austin Barber. Again, nobody's entered to the NFL and portal, right? So the names that I'm going to read off, again, have the ability to stay, which we've talked about. And this is where I get excited. So offensive line, Austin Barber, left tackle, fantastic. Damian George, right guard, fantastic. Devin Manuel backs up to Austin Barber. Dealt with an injury towards the end of the year there, but I love that secondary. Jake Slaughter, by golly, give me another year of Jake Slaughter, please. Please, please, please. Could that affect the line if he stays? I don't know. Maybe. Najee Harris, left guard, love that kid to death. I think we get 4 years out of Najee Harris. Caden Jones, he was our 4-star O lineman from 2 years ago, so he's going into his 3rd year. Maybe we'll get some more production out of him. Same thing with Big Rod. We're going into his 3rd year, so hopefully some more production out of him. Bryce Lovett, Marcus Maskell, Noah Portaganjo, that 3-star kid from last year. Enoch Wango, he said so Billy even included Enoch, Jason Zamadella, and Jameer Grimsley. He's like, look, they came late in the summer. They're part of this 2025 recruiting class. That's how we look at them because of how late they got here. So maybe Jason Zamadella, who was a 4-star kid, last year, makes a big stride. He has a big impact on this offensive line as well. Tavarius Dice, a new signee, Jahari Medlock, and then Daniel Pierre, and then a couple guys for walk-on. Mark Faircloth, I remember him committing. Brian Rosenberg, Chase Stevens, and Connor Home, I don't recognize their name. Fletcher Westfall, a lot of good names. Again, guys that we remember. Again, Big Rod, 4-star. Fletcher Westfall, 4-star recruit. Jason Zamodella, 4-star recruit. Tavarius Dice, 4-star recruit. And the rest of the names like Cameron Waits, Najee Harris, those guys are all going into like that money-making year where it's like, hey, it's time for you to dial it in. So, look, I know we keep saying O-line, but if the O-line stays what is intact, I don't think you have to go that heavily in the portal. But right tackle definitely is going to be, I mean, go get an experienced guy that is going to get it done. But, you know, if the guys that you have on the line right now, the names that I just went over, if they're not ready and you're not starting to see this depth have an impact, then you've got a bigger problem, which would be the Rob Sale situation, right? We'll see. Q-Lee says Zip and Devin Moore just taking up space. I mean, well, Zip's not anymore, but yeah, he's like made out of glass. So, oh, thanks, Cam. This is Cam Parker Sports there. Should put this in the article, but I didn't include guys who participated in senior day against Ole Miss. Oh, Zipper participated. Appreciate the share and support, Sheldon. Oh, okay. Thank you, Cam. I didn't know that. And I went to senior day and I didn't even realize Zip walked out there. Okay, so that was him saying goodbye. Okay, fair enough. And I remember, you know, even though Banks was emotional at the end of that game, we still don't know, but he could still go, right? He could still go. So, oh, Kelby Collins, that was a big one. I think that's a big one that we lost that we wanted to see. I agree with that one. I think that was now, to me, you know, it feels like it's a big loss, but if you saw against that Florida State game, and we're going to go over the D-line here in just a minute, if he clearly wasn't getting reps over these guys, so how much of a loss is it? Yeah, I don't think that we were not playing him because we didn't want to. I just don't think we weren't playing him because he just wasn't cutting it. So, look, the O-line, I know we want to kind of knick-knack and get after it, but these guys, a lot of these guys carry stars. A lot of these guys carry weight and size. It's time we start seeing the development. And I think we saw a great progress this year, and I'm hoping we double down on that this year, on this following year. The same thing with wide receivers. Like, hey, we need to get wide receivers. I mean, you drafted a lot of 4-stars for the last couple of years. Yeah, Eugene Mizell, Hank Abrams, Eugene Wilson. I mean, that class is, you got to start seeing that be productive. You can't, you know what I mean? So, again, I still think you need to go get that right tackle just because we threw Waits in there. Again, I think we have a lot of inside guys. Not enough true tackles yet, and that's a problem. I think that falls on recruiting because again these guys haven't been able to handle. Again, Damian George came in recruited as a tackle, but much better at guard. Right, Cam Waits was thrown in there at times, but just couldn't get it done. I think Kinshaw, there was just a miscommunication because that guy was he went from left tackle. He was right tackle to start in his career, went to left tackle the last couple of years at San Diego, then came back to play right tackle for us. So I think it was a small transition, which we talked about that in the offseason. But the tackle position has not been developed well, and I don't think recruited very well either. Just given these guys' names, I don't remember much of them being tackle positions. So that's got to be a focus, I believe. Not just one, though. Not just one. Okay. Getting cotton mouth there, boys. All right. Let's talk about this edge position. George Gumbs Jr., an absolute steal. I mean, think about that name, right? Like, when he came in, if I'm reading this list to you at the beginning of the season, you're going, that's a rough list. But now, right, because again, Boom would have been on this list originally, but he's no longer here. So it had a sex appeal to it at the beginning of the year, no longer does. So George Gumbs, Tyreek Sapp, Jack Pyburn, Cameron James. Cameron James has been one of my favorite players. The way that he just runs all over the football field, I love his energy. Number 24, I believe is his number. I love Cameron James. I think he gets not overlooked, but he's more of a third down guy, comes in with a lot of speed. Same thing with TJ Searcy. Love him to death as well. LJ McCray. I mean, the edge room is really coming together. I think you go get one. Maybe we'll get another guy there because then you got Jaden Woods who you just signed as well. Wouldn't hate one more. I think we went a little light on the recruiting. We could probably got one more edge in the class, to be honest with you. So that's why I think you go get one more just for injury purposes. And again, I think maybe I got to push the room to continue to elevate the room a little bit. Go get a guy that's maybe not a George Gums. A George Gums, I think, was definitely was a needle in a haystack kind of guy. Go get me a guy like that. That's just like a Colin Simmons from Texas. Like that's a guy that when I was talking about recruiting 5-stars would have been absolute steal, right? Like just the impact that he makes right away. If you can go get something like that maybe kind of had a rough year or whatever school they went to, I think that'd be great. D-line, this is where it gets interesting. So this just thinned out really quick because, again, we're losing Big Dez, Slackman, and Cam Jackson, of course, in that D-line. So now you've got Caleb Banks, which is, if he comes back, love that. Brian Taylor Jr., who is the JUCO kid, did some great things this year. Jamari Lyons, who broke his ankle at the beginning of the year, and we were hearing in the spring camp that this guy was given first round reps or first snap reps. Like just he was him, right? So if you've got him and Banks, him and Banks running that 1-2, that's going to be solid. And then you're bringing in the Micah Boras, who had a really great year. I believe he was a true freshman this year. He was. Now he's going to be a sophomore. DeAndre Robinson, what a steal from Texas. A kid comes in. I mean, again, late to the class, big factor he was. Fun to watch him play. And again, this is where Kelby Collins would have fit in with this list. So now that is all we're bringing back from starting, because now the next four are all signees: Joseph Mbakchu, Jeremiah McLeod, Stephen Shivers, and Jalen Wiggins. Now, these 4 linemen, all 4-star defensive linemen, and we've kind of seen what they've been able to do. Going to need to put some size on a lot of them. Again, Joseph Mbakchu just put his helmet on this past year, but has climbed in the rankings. So, but still lower in on that 4-star. Do they make an impact right away? D-line is going to have to be a point of emphasis. Probably 2 to 3 of them. 2 to 3 of them. We'll see. We'll see. You're saying DJ's leaving? Is the chat yelling? I ain't reading the chat right now. You guys are nuts. Boys and girls, almost 700 strong in here. Be sure, again, let's continue to smash the like. Let's even get to 200 likes. Lions coming back. I mean, right now, Jamar Lyons is in there, so he's not leaving. We were sold lies on Slackman. You ain't lying, bro. I mean, we just heard he's a football guy, but yeah, it was kind of a downfall on that one. $5. CJ is a school hopping crybaby. We don't need that in Gainesville. I agree, Jamari Ellis. I just think the way that, you kind of watch how these guys navigate. I'm not a fan. I was mentioning what I saw. $2. Class wasn't bad. Thank you for your efforts the past few days. Absolutely, Chris. I love this stuff, man. This is fun. This is where we get rock and rolling here. I hear they have a $4.5 million deal lined up for Lagway. Who's that? Bank just committed for the 13th time. You guys are killing me. I want to see Banks back too, boys. Trust me. I love me good old Banks. Okay, let's get back to this list by man Cam Parker. Again, it's on Florida Gators SI if you guys want to go look at it yourself. It's a lot. It's going to be updated live, so things are happening. He'll continue to update this, which is really cool. Linebacker play is probably the linebacker room and the DB room is what I'm excited to look at, dude. Because these rooms, I don't think we need to do anything on. They are absolutely exceptional. Maybe one DB, like a Triquez Bridges. I think he was such a huge factor. Just that senior experience. Asa Turner is still on this list, and we'll talk about that here in a minute about that. But let's go with the linebackers. So we've got Shamar James. Definitely can come back for another year. I think he will. Deuce Spurlock. Again, we're going on the list. Crazy he's still there. Pup Howard, Jaden Robinson, Aaron Childs, Miles Graham. I mean, that room just excites me. You're going to have a sophomore Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, a junior Jaden Robinson, a junior Pup Howard, and a senior Shamar James. That linebacker room is as good as it's ever been. And then you've got, of course, Ty Jackson and Miles Johnson, the 2 new signees that are coming into that room as well. Now, you're going to have to get heavy into the recruiting class following year because you're going to lose more than likely Pup Howard and Shamar next year. They'll be gone. Jaden Robinson, he could be back for a senior year. Depends on what he does. And then you're looking at Aaron Childs, Miles Graham, and Ty Jackson as kind of your your heart. So next year you could be losing 3. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to think of like, how do you keep retaining this? And I think we may have got a little light in the linebacker room. So maybe you go get a project linebacker. Maybe just go get one, just because of the depth, right? Go get like another Pup Howard. Not maybe you don't get him as good, but someone else to kind of fill in for that. I don't know. I don't know how many they want to hold on staff at the time, but again, Miles Johnson, he could really grow up into be something there. So we'll see. Defensive back, Ace Turner, potential medical redshirt. Again, he went down for Miami and never saw the field once again. So could be interesting. Again, we didn't really see what he could do. I think he provides experience. So if he's able to come back and he's healthy, then great. Devin Moore still there. Again, when he's on the football field, he's incredible, but that's just it when he's on the football field. Jordan Castell, great freshman campaign, fall off sophomore campaign. That was a 3-star guy. Maybe he can kind of figure some things out. So we'll see how that rock and rolls. Sharif Denson had a great year. I think it really kind of stepped up in his sophomore year. Excited for his junior year. Dejon Johnson was asked to do a lot here the last couple of games. Bryce Thornton and Aaron Gates. I mean, you want to talk about a duo. That fires me up. Josiah Davis was a 3-star kid from last year. Teddy Foster as well. Greg Smith, big safety. Kind of saw some playing time at the end over Jordan Castell. So maybe, the safeties we signed with Ben Hanks, Lagonza Hayward, and Hilton Stubbs, I think the talent is there. Again, it's still very, very young. So, we'll keep an eye on that one. Again, Jameer Grimsley is another one that's going to be making some step up. Kermani McLean's still on this team. He's down there at the bottom because he's still technically a walk-on. So it's kind of like that if depending on how his growth happens, that cornerback room can really, really ramp up. I think the talent in that room is fun. He's a still availability. Yeah. Cam's got him up here for the potential medical redshirt. So obviously punter. Oh, we've got his Hayden Craig, the 5-star punter, because no more Crawshaw, which is very upsetting. So I'm not crying, you are. And then we saw Trace Mack, which is good. So Rocco Underwood too. So there it is. There it is. What is up with Glass Turner? Ben Hanks. This class that we signed though, man, it is something special. It has the potential to be really, really good. So definitely something to keep an eye on with that class. Justice Terry, the D lineman, has he signed yet for Georgia? I know he kind of pushed it back. I heard McLean was hitting the transfer portal. Could be. Yeah, Crawshaw is done, boys and girls. Carlos Webb says, we all in the chat are speaking on guys added to this team. Remember, most importantly, we need Gator culture guys, no cultural killers, go Gators. Look, and even Billy said that, hey, when every person that comes in from the portal, he's going to sit with the class and interview them, right? That's what's going to be. And they did it this past year. And I did it with Kermani McLean. And I told you, I was like, look, I guarantee you what's taking this so long is they want to make sure this fits into the group, to the culture, vibes with it. You don't want a guy coming in. It's crazy how easy it is for one guy to come in and be a cancer and mess things up. So Ty Jackson's a dude. Yeah, he's going to be fun to watch. He's kind of like an Aaron Childs and Miles Graham where like they're going to see the field very quickly. And Jaden Robinson, Muddy, you're 100% right. We don't say his name enough. I'm trying to say it more because, again, we love Shamar. He's kind of like our Ventrell Miller now. We appreciate him. Miles Graham has always been a fan favorite of ours. Aaron Childs is kind of like that freak out there. And Jaden, being the class before that, just kind of got brushed under the rug in the sense of the fans' eyes. But his production on the field, guys, he's not as big as the other ones. So maybe kind of that's why he goes under the radar. But he's a beast. He is a beast. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I'm excited about the defense. Yeah, Gums is my new favorite player too, guys. Boys and girls, we're at 800 right now. Can we hit 1,000 again? If we hit 1,000 tonight, we missed it last night because Dave was on. We're going to have to put Dave in timeout. And he didn't know what helicopter was. So, look, there it is. I think there's a lot of, that's the team right now. So when you look at the team like that, if you had to put that onto the football field, I think, it's exciting. I think you can make that work. Obviously, they're going to go after some things, but let's just kind of take it for what that is. If that is the team that marches onto the field next year, I think there's a lot of youth. There's some areas that you can growth, but The thing is, a lot of these guys played together this year. They're going to have a lot of playing time again for that bowl game. There's just something that you have that you can really build on. But again, I think you also have a much better base even the year prior, right? And with that, maybe you can be a little more. I would say they were very precise with their guys in the portal. I can't say because I think they had a very successful year. You're going to have bust. The portal, that's just the way that it is. It's like a recruiting class. Guys are going to work. Some guys are not going to work. That's just, it is what it is. I think Bridges was better than what most people thought he would be. I think more people thought DJ Douglas was going to be better than what he was. Asa Turner left unknown. Badger, I think, I think we thought he would be good. I think DK was much better than we thought he would be. Badger, remember, came in really, really late. He wasn't playing, and people were kind of like, "Why isn't he playing in the spring game?" And it was just given the fact that he got there late and was taking some time to learn. So that's just the name of the game. And at one point, we felt like Crenshaw was a bust, and Crenshaw ended up being fantastic. Devin Manuel didn't play too much, so you don't know too much about him, right? There's all these things that you have to worry about. I'm worried about the offense and the creativity for it. Yeah, you know what, Keely, I was talking to my dad about this today, and it's interesting about the O-line or the offense. I think I've come to love and appreciate the offense that the offense that Billy has. Because when I played NCAA for the month that when it first came out, I liked it. I could see why you can get into a rhythm. The issue is Billy calling it. I think is the problem. When I think we all can agree is the problem, because I don't think he has a good gauge of the game because there's too many things going on, right? You're the head coach, and I think we have to kind of give credit to hey, you're doing a great job here. And I think he's concerned of passing that over of if he could find a version of him that's going to buy into the playbook, but then also provide some spice and excitement. That is what he needs to go after. And again, I don't know if Callaway provides. I don't know who provides those things. So I could just give me the controller and I can call it from the press box. But the ability to look 3 and 4 plays ahead and kind of notice little notches in the defense. We've said this before. I've said this before. This is where I've always got a little frustrated with Billy, is that he kind of just gets into his rhythm. And it's like, if it doesn't work, we just punt it and we move on. We're not going to try something new the next time. There's very little adjustments. That's how it feels. I could be wrong, but you can always feel that there's an adjustment with the defensive guys. You can sense that happening. Offensively, I don't always feel that. And so I think that's where an OC comes into play. I don't need a guy to come in and completely flip the playbook around and change it up. And no, I think the plays there, I like the pistol. Kansas runs the same offense. Kansas went on an absolute tear the last few games of the season, because when that thing is working and everybody's executing and it's called properly, it is hard to stop. But execution is not going to happen every time perfectly, right? These things aren't always going to be that. So you have to have the ability to adjust. You have to have the ability to, adapt to what's happening. And I think that's where him trying to do everything just doesn't. It doesn't have a rhythm. Yeah, Dan Nathaniel, Billy doesn't have a good play calling rhythm. Yeah, there is no rhythm to it. It's just, it kind of like this is it. This is what we're doing. And it has it doesn't ever get flowing. And it's very frustrating. An offense needs to flow. You need the guys to get rolling, and DJ needs to get into it. So no, Badger does not have any eligibility left to stay. So he is gone, along with Shamir DK. I didn't forget about LJ McCray. I mentioned him already. Already. So, and as for the bowl game, it looks like Michigan's going to be a lock. So I'm going to do my best to make sure I talk smack to Dave Portnoy leading up to that game. Have as much fun as I can. People are not. I mean, it's kind of a boring game, but I mean, I'm fun. Give me Key and CJ Daniels. I'm not a huge fan about CJ Daniels. How did Dane Key do this year, though? I know he was a big, focus when we were playing against him. Didn't do much against us. 715 yards. I mean, that's pretty solid. Given 6'3", 210. Yeah, go give me Dane Key. 715 yards with old Brock Vandegrift and that offense throwing him the ball. Yeah, go get Dane Key. If he can get 715 yards with that lackluster on offense, man, he could be what Badger was this year for DJ Lagway. Go all in on Dane Key. He's got size, experience, going into his senior year. That guy you go in on, all in on. Yeah, it looks like Michigan again. Again, it could change, but that's where a lot of the predictions, the crystal balls, have came in. So, yeah, Dane Key, I think, would be you get Dane Key on top of the talent that's already there with Eugene Wilson, Aiden Mizell, and Khalil Jackson. Khalil Jackson, I know you guys get all rowdy about him, but he was doing well before his injury this year. I mean, he's kind of electric in his own little way. So, we'll see. Yeah, we need a deep threat. I think Dane Key provides that. Go get the wide receiver from ASU. Continue with the ASU pipeline. I mean, yeah, you could, but ASU, I mean, they're cooking, dude. They're one game away from being in the playoffs. So, how much of a factor does that play? Because the playoffs run through this entire portal cycle, and because the playoffs start the 20th and go the 21st, so you'll have some teams eliminated then. I think it rolls into the beginning of the year when the championship game is. Babe, can you hand me my charger? Computer's dying. When the bowl game is, that I don't know yet. That I'd imagine probably during like that Christmas week, if I had to guess. Wherever it is, we will try to figure something out for it and see. So, Nick Anderson, almost 800 yards. Let's take a look at Nick Anderson. Has he entered in? Oh, from Oklahoma. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, kid's good. Okay, now I remember this kid. We talked about him on he not play last year? He's a sophomore. I remember us talking about him on with Jason. Entered today. Okay. Little young. Again, a sophomore. Well, I guess this was his junior year, but 6'4", though. Talk about some size, dude. Talk about some size. That's a big boy. Did you guys see this as well? They're Billy B interviewing for the North Carolina job. Now, I talked about this too with my dad today about just the pro coaches, because we talked about it a little bit, my thought process on these coaches coming in, these NFL coaches coming to college football, and it's like, hey, they'll do a great job because these players are being paid now. They know how to manage this. But, I think the Brian O'Leary, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Head coach for Boston College. Can't think of his name right now. Not O'Leary. Bill O'Brien. Is it Bill O'Brien? You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the head coach at Boston College coached at Alabama and coached at Houston at one point. So he had a little bit of both. And I don't say he had a bad year at Boston College, but I think he kind of lost its luster there. This Bill thing, do we think this guy is going to recruit? Bill O'Brien. Okay, I was right. Do we think Bill's going to go to North Carolina and recruit? Like, I feel like there's going from Mac to Mac. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a high possibility because I truly believe he's blackballed. I think Robert Kraft got with the boys and were like, you can't hire them because the way their breakup went was kind of ugly. Maybe because he's got a girlfriend that's 25, he wants to hang around with the youngins to get some new lingo. I don't know, but I don't see it. I just think he's past due. I think he needs to try to stay in the NFL. There's no way that North Carolina looks at this guy and goes, yeah, he's going to go into these houses and be able to relate. Like, he's just miserable. I don't think he can do it. Yeah, this guy ain't doing it. I don't see it. He wouldn't need to recruit. His name and history will do it for him. I hear what you're saying, right? And that's what people said about John Gruden. But, I mean, that only goes so far. Yeah, I don't think the name, I mean, guys, these are 18-year-old kids. Like, you got to think about how that plays a factor. It matters. Like, they'll think, oh, Bill Belichick won X amount of Super Bowls with Tom Brady. Guys, we're getting old. If I talk to my little brother now, right, who's just going to be a senior next year in high school, it's like, hey, would you go play for Bill Belichick? like it's not the same ring to it. Yeah, kids don't care about Bill Belichick. I'm telling you, dude. The damn near NFL won't even doesn't care about him. The dads and uncles will be starstruck. Yeah, sure, but you know that only goes so far. That only goes so far. So I just don't think it has the same weight. You start losing game, you got to win. That lasts for a year. You have a bad year. Bill Belichick's name is no longer cool either. Hire Meyer for OC. Urban ain't coming back, boys. He shut down they're talking about him going back to Ohio State. He's, I ain't going back. Bill Belichick needs to sit down. Yeah, Billy B's got to hang it up, boys. Billy B's got to hang it up. Well, boys and girls, great Thursday night show. Good to see all of you guys. Appreciate y'all hopping in here. 500 strong now. Again, almost 200 likes. Thank you so much for the love and support. Glad we were able to talk it out and hang out. I wanted to hop on and get one more live in tomorrow. I got a little date night with the wife. Saturday, we've got obviously the conference championships, so we'll do a little bit probably talking about that. We'll know on Sunday where we're playing, but it's gonna be weird for me. I got to get used to this a new rhythm. I spent the last 3 months in a little bit of a rotation with the games and the Wednesday show, and I've got to figure out now getting into a new rhythm. It's gonna be sad, but I like shooting. I like making content, so I'm gonna get as much as I can because I know once the football season slows down, it gets a little slow. But we're back in the talking season. We're back in the news cycle. Could we be seeing some coaches from our side be let go? Could we see some hirings? I think a lot of that movement could be happening. Probably not till January though. So December is going to be a heavy portal month, heavy focus on that. And then bowl preparation, which that's exciting. We do get one more game that we get to talk about and look forward to and watch. So that's exciting. What's cool is I feel like we won't feel too long without football because we do get one more game and it gets us a little bit closer to the spring game because last time we didn't get here. Guys, everyone and their mom has said that. I can't look it up. I'm not going to look it up. Badger does not have another year. This here says he has 1 year of eligibility, but I don't know. It's an AI overview. I remember Cam Parker did research on it and said we don't get it. So, yeah, Nate said Pager is gone to his last press. Okay, he's gone. So, whether he has one or not, he's gone. $2, FSU still sucks. Thank you, Rich. I love that. I love it. Should we be concerned with these players leaving? Come on, Animal. You know better. No. You can't come in late, Animal, with those kind of questions. Just kidding. All right, boys. Y'all be good. I love y'all. I won't see you tomorrow. Like I said, date night with the wife. And then Saturday, we'll have some games. It's the birthday, the big 31. I may hop on Saturday. We'll see how things are rock and rolling then. But and Sunday, we'll probably do a little bit of a bowl presentation because I think we'll know then. So we'll talk about that. And then Monday, the portal opens up. So we're going to be talking. We're going to be having some fun, rocking and rolling. I love y'all as always. Smash the like button. Peace and love, baby.